Good morning, my name is Byron Drew from Metro Weather, and this is this morning's weather brief on Thursday, the 25th of October. Today's brief will include a summarized look at your longer-term forecast, followed by a more detailed forecast across the UK and Europe. After that, I'll look at German wind speed and solar radiation, followed by Scandinavian precipitation, and finally, global weather alerts. And we start with a look at your 7-day average temperature forecast from ECNWF, where in the UK there is signal for temperatures to trend generally below climate normal for the first half of November, with temperatures expected to average between 1 and 2 degrees below normal for this time of year. There is a very similar signal in Germany for generally below average temperatures through the first half of November, and in fact most parts of Western and Central Europe are likely to trend below average for the first half of November. And now for a more detailed look at your forecast across the UK and Europe over the next 15 days, starting between days 11 and 15, when temperatures are likely to trend very near to or potentially slightly above average in many parts of Western and Central Europe, while in the UK temperatures will trend slightly below normal. These trends are well illustrated by the GFS average sea level pressure chart between days 11 and 15, with low pressure to the north feeding in relatively cool air for the UK, while high pressure to the west will allow for a milder airflow into many parts of Central and Western Europe. And in fact, much of the model confusion through this period is relating to the exact positioning and movement of this low pressure to the north and the high pressure to the west. The UK model comparison graph represents this confusion with divergence between the ECNWF and GFS ensemble models, with the GFS ensemble currently signaling temperatures slightly warmer and nearer to climate average than the ECNWF model. Despite this divergence, there is still strong signal within both the ECNWF and GFS model for temperatures to trend either slightly below or below normal between days 11 and 15 in the UK. As previously mentioned, temperatures are likely to be milder on the continent, with temperatures averaging quite near to climate normal in Germany, and temperatures even rising briefly above normal in France. The prevalence of cool outliers within the GFS deterministic model between days 11 and 15 is however one of a number of signals that forecast temperatures could potentially cool across Central and Western Europe over the coming days. This signal for a potentially cooler forecast across Central and Western Europe is most evident in the GFS ensemble model, but also, to a lesser extent, within the EC ensemble. This potential becomes evident when we look at the GFS ensemble cluster analysis for the 3rd of November, where the GFS ensemble mean signals low pressure to be dominant to the north of the UK, which would result in a cool northwesterly airflow into the UK and a much milder westerly or southwesterly airflow across the continent. Looking at the cluster analysis, however, we can see that roughly 40 or 45% of the ensemble members display that the high pressure west of the continent will origin strongly west of the UK, resulting in a much cooler airflow into the UK and Central Europe, while roughly 20 or 25% of the ensemble members signal that high pressure to the west will be weaker, resulting in a milder westerly airflow. And between days 6 and 10, temperatures across most parts of Central and Western Europe are likely to trend slightly above normal, while in the UK, temperatures will trend near to or slightly below average. While in the short term, temperatures are likely to trend below normal to well below normal in some parts. Interestingly though, the GFS ensemble once again signals temperatures trending up to 1 degree warmer than the ECNWF ensemble model between the 27th and 30th of October. During this period, the EC model signals the high pressure to be dominant further north over the UK, resulting in a colder northerly airflow compared to the northwesterly of the GFS model. At present, I favour the cooler scenario. And now for a look at your German renewables forecast, starting with your aggregated wind speed forecast across Germany, where wind speeds are expected to drop significantly tomorrow, reaching a peak of around 13 miles per hour midday today, dropping to around 5 miles per hour by tomorrow. It is important to note that this is an aggregated forecast across Germany, and winds can locally be significantly stronger, particularly in the north. And over the next 3 or 4 days, prevailing conditions are likely to lead to relatively low levels of solar power generation in Germany. And now for Scandinavian precipitation, where, over the next 7 or 8 days, precipitation totals across most parts are likely to trend near to or below normal for this time of year, while the coast of Norway and the northern coast of Norway in particular we'll see rainfall totals above normal to well above normal. And now for global weather alerts, starting with an update on Hurricane Sandy. That is forecast to continue tracking northwards over Cuba, passing east of Florida and then turning northeastwards over the course of the weekend. And in the South China Sea, tropical storm Sontin is expected to continue tracking northwestwards away from the Philippines, making landfall in central or northern Vietnam over the weekend. And in the United States, temperatures in many central and southeastern parts are likely to trend slightly below average to below average over the next 7 or 8 days, while in the southwest and the far northeast, temperatures are likely to trend above normal. And in Brazil, although in far southern parts precipitation totals are likely to continue to trend above normal, precipitation totals across the rest of the country are likely to be below normal to well below normal for this time of year. And in East Asia, temperatures in most parts are likely to trend generally above normal for this time of year, although in Japan temperatures will trend near to climate average. And that's all for today's weather brief. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.